and I got better and better. So Clay ends up losing to Gil the next fight, and then I end up winning 3 in a row, and then they end up putting me against Gilbert Melendez for the title. And going into that fight, I was a 4-1 underdog, and I didn't know I was an underdog until that week of the fight. People kept telling me, "Hey, dude, you're an underdog. You're an underdog." So and I was like, yeah, sure, of course I am. I'm not the champion, you know. They're like, no, you're like a 4-1 underdog. I'm like, wow, I was like, that's pretty bad. That means I suck, you know. And so leading up to that fight, that was just it was one of those things where I just felt like I had trained with Gil before. I kind of knew, like he was tough. I was panicking a little bit myself. I was like, dude, this kid, he's gonna try to like in training when we would train, he would try to break me, he would try to push me, he would try to make me tired, he would do all those things, and sometimes and a lot of times he would succeed. And so I made sure for that fight that there was no way that he was going to be in better shape than me. And that I think that fight was definitely the test to see like in myself that like if you put your mind to something you can do anything. And so I had to make sure that he wasn't in better shape than me. And that fight he wasn't in better shape than me, and that's what ultimately won me the title. Then you go on to our next 2 fights, and he understood that I made that adjustment in the first fight, and he changed that. So he ended up progressing and making himself better after our fights. Every single time he was a better athlete after our fights. And the same thing for me. I mean, I learned so much from fighting him. And I don't know if you've seen like my Instagram post to him, but him and his whole team and Nate and Nick and Jake Shields especially, and and Carrie, his wife, I mean, they have a really close knit little family looking, thing
Yeah.
that they have going on there with the Scrap Pack and and the Diaz brothers and El Nino Training Center and Jake Shields and kind of the lone wolf Jake Shields. but that group is absolutely probably one of the biggest reasons why I've been able to have so much success. Gil, and the fact that he was someone that pushed me so hard to become a better me, a better version of me every single time. Because I talked about he's every pro athlete, every pro boxer, every pro MMA guy, um, every big time movie, right, needs a nemesis. Batman had Joker, and
Yeah.
other characters have certain guys that were just their big time nemesis. And Gilbert Melendez was always mine, and he always made me better. He always, every single time we fought, he made me a better fighter. He made me think that I could do better, and he showed that I could do better, after beating me. And so I there's a lot of gratitude that I have for that whole team. Jake Shields would come in and still grapple and train with me, and he's been over here to my gym also too. When I've had guys come in from all around the world to come and help me train, he's come in and rolled and trained with me as well as them. And like those are the type of people I like to surround myself with. In the scheme of things, when you look at life in a whole, I look at these guys and I say, they're just all around just good people, and Gil's one of them. His wife is an absolutely amazing person. And Jake Shields. I can't say too much on the Diaz brothers. I've always been a fan of theirs, even though I fought Nate. And I've always loved watching their fights. I'm a huge fan of Nick Diaz, watching his fights and all the things that he's done. And it's truly, I've appreciated all the things that they've contributed to the sport.